Hi, my name is Lakota Denton. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Asheville, North Carolina. And I want to talk to you a little bit about whether or not you need a lawyer for your personal injury case. I get a lot of people that come into my office who have been involved in a car crash or have been injured in some way, and they want to know if I can help them, but more importantly, they want to know whether or not they even need me to help them. So I want to talk to you about a couple things that you need to look for in your case to determine whether or not you even need a lawyer. Now, probably 6 or 7 times out of 10, folks come in and I say, listen, you have a minor injury. It's a pretty straightforward incident where you got hurt. The other person has admitted that they're at fault, and you can probably handle this on your own as long as it stays pretty simple. And I'll even write down a list and say, here's what you need to do. If you have any questions, call me, but you don't need representation at this time. Now, here are some of the things that I tell people to look for whether or not they can handle the case without a lawyer. First of all, insurance companies are the ones you're going to be negotiating with, and they like to evaluate your case based on the amount of your medical bills. So if you have only a small amount of medical bills, which would also mean you probably have a pretty minor injury, then it's a lot easier for you to handle the case on your own because there's less stakes involved, there's less risk, and there's less money involved. So you don't need a lawyer to increase the value of your case because the case probably cannot be increased in value by that much. So I usually tell people a rule of thumb is if you have less than $5,000 in medical bills in total, that's one thing to look for that could tell you maybe you can handle this without a lawyer. Another thing to look for is how serious of an injury you have. I usually tell folks that come in and they have a sprain or a strain or bumps and bruises that fortunately those are pretty minor injuries and you can probably handle that on your own with the insurance company. So if you have under $5,000 worth of bills, you have minor injuries that have gotten better quickly or at least within a couple months, then you're more likely to be able to handle that case on your own. Now, if the defendant has done something really egregious, the at-fault party has done something really ugly to cause your injury, some kind of an assault, a drunk driver, a building that leaves a giant hole in the floor that you fall through, something that's just pretty shocking, then you might want to start thinking about having a lawyer. And the reason is that those kinds of things really add value to your case. But they add value to your case in a way that maybe only a lawyer is going to be able to argue with the insurance company. And you may not know what it is the defendant has done that adds value to your case. And so it might be difficult for you to articulate that to an insurance company without the help of a lawyer. Certainly if you're hit by a drunk driver, even if you have minor injuries, you probably want to hire a lawyer to make sure that that drunk driver is prosecuted, to get a copy of the judgment against that drunk driver, and to use that to increase the value of your personal injury case with the insurance company. Finally, sometimes negotiation with an insurance company can get very difficult. Well, usually it can get difficult. When you get to a point where you think you may have to file a lawsuit because you disagree with the insurance company, or if the insurance company is denying your claim altogether and saying we're not at fault, you're going to need a lawyer to file a lawsuit. It's very difficult to know how to file a lawsuit and how to litigate a case without the help of a personal injury lawyer. So a couple things to remember. If you have under $5,000 in medical bills, if you have minor injuries, and if you don't need to file a lawsuit, and if the at-fault party has admitted that it's their fault, like in a rear-end collision in a crash, you can probably handle that on your own. Now, it's still probably a good idea to at least get a free consultation with a personal injury lawyer and run this by them and make sure that you're comfortable handling it on your own. A lot of people do that with me. I don't charge anything to talk to people about this, and a lot of times I tell them to go and handle it on their own. If you decide to hire a lawyer, it's important to know exactly how that lawyer can help you in your case. So here's a number of quick ways that lawyers can help in cases, even in smaller cases. First of all, lawyers know the value of cases based on injuries, based on the kind of an incident that caused the injury, medical bills, because we see these cases all day, every day, and we have a pretty good idea what is a fair value for a case. So if you are negotiating with an insurance company and they're offering $10,000 to settle your case, you don't know if that's fair. You don't know if that's a great offer or a terrible offer. Personal injury attorneys know because they see this stuff all the time. Another way an attorney can help you with your case is they can increase the value of your case. The best way an attorney can increase the value of your case is if that attorney has a history of filing lawsuits and going to trial against these insurance companies. If an insurance company knows that your lawyer never tries cases, always settles cases, and never even files lawsuits, that insurance company is going to offer you a much lower number. So look for a personal injury attorney who has tried cases and who files lawsuits. Now, another way an attorney can help you with your case is not just by increasing the value of your case, but by decreasing the amount of your medical bills. When you settle a personal injury claim, you're going to have to pay your medical bills out of the settlement. A lot of times I negotiate with the people that you might owe medical bills to: hospitals, doctors, urgent care, radiology, ambulance, and we write letters to them and we ask them to reduce their bills based on the circumstances of your case, and a lot of times we're successful at that. That's something that could be pretty difficult to do without an attorney if you've never done it before. Another way that a lawyer can help in your case is to make sure that you're not missing any other potential sources of recovery. So a good example would be if you are hit by a drunk driver and you go to settle your case. If you sign a release settling your case with that drunk driver, then that case is over. You cannot recover anything from that incident ever again. You may not know if that drunk driver was at a bar earlier that night and the bar served them 10 drinks and sent them on their way and never cut them off, gave them their car keys, and put them in a car. That would be an additional source of recovery for you if you know about the bar and you go after the bar. But it won't be there if you just settle the case with the drunk driver. You can rely on a personal injury attorney to investigate and find out if there's a bar involved. Other examples might be if there's additional insurance money from a different insurance policy, from a different person in the household of the driver might have a different insurance policy, and you can even sometimes recover money from your own insurance policy if you're involved in a car wreck. All of these things are reasons to get a lawyer, the most important being that a lawyer will make sure that everything is taken care of in a way that all of your rights are taken care of. So, as a summary, you might not need a lawyer if you have under $5,000 worth of bills, if you have minor injuries like sprains and strains, if the defendant has admitted that it is their fault, and I really still recommend at least talking to an attorney about your case, even if you're going to handle it on your own. Personal injury attorneys almost never charge for a consultation. My consultations are always free. If you have any questions, please come and see me or give me a call on the phone. I constantly tell people, here's what your case looks like. You can handle it on your own. And if you'd like me to do that, please get in touch. Thanks.